Yo, what's happening, everybody? Too much fantasy football is too much best ball today. It's Brian, it's Brennan, and we have a lot of fun coming in for you today. It's going to be nothing but best ball talk, whether it be strategy, whether it be ADP, maybe a handful of sleepers in there. But Brennan, how are we doing today?
Doing pretty good. It's our favorite time of the year. We have best balls going on, and we all are trying to find the steals. Like last year was Rashi Rice for most of us until week 5 came. So trying to find that next stack.
Oh yeah, and the amount of times that we stacked the Rashi Rice with the Chris Godwin. Oh yeah, talk about gone real quick, folks. But we're going back into the streets and we're going at it again. This year, though, it's not going to be as underdog focused. We're going to be focusing in on drafters. Yes, we got a new sponsorship coming in, so if you are new to drafters, go ahead and hop in on over there. FFAN is the promo code, and it goes up to 100% match for up to $100 on that 100% match. So we're just diving in there, getting ready for this best ball excitement all summer long. It's the best time of year. We got the schedule, we've got the draft figured out. No one is wrong yet on redraft takes, and of course, we're drafting every freaking day on best ball.
Oh yeah, at least once a night for me for sure.
Yeah, it's bad, especially now that I've gotten into drafters and they've got these smaller leagues. So I can just kind of tick away. I was like, if I forget about this one, it's just a $2 draft. But we got to hop in every day.
Yeah.
So, folks, we got a little bit of news to talk about here. Derrick Henry, the money seems to be passing around. That's really what the bulk of the news is going to be. But Derrick Henry, huge extension, 2 years stacked onto there. $36 million, I think, guaranteed is what it was. I mean, Dynasty, if you picked up Derrick Henry over the last 18 months, it's going to pay dividends for sure for that, late first round you maybe paid for him?
Yeah, everyone probably traded like one first round pick. Like they're just like, I'm just going to go in for the chip. And now you're like, I have him for a couple more years. This is great. Yeah, it's a $30 million extension, $25 million fully guaranteed over the next 2 seasons. Like they're committed to him. It is pretty much signed and sealed and delivered that Derrick Henry is just an anomaly. And it's just until the wheels fall off, you kind of have to put him as an RB1.
Yeah, I'm right back in. Price is probably you're not really getting a discount on him, but it's consistent enough that anytime touchdown last year for Derrick Henry, it banged that drum every single week for us.
Yeah, he was like what? He was in the neck and neck with Saquon until Saquon just blew it out of the water for the rushing title.
Yeah, you take out those last few games up until the very end. Derrick Henry was being talked about as MVP candidate there halfway through the season.
Yeah.
I mean, alongside Lamar Jackson, that's a hell of a duo right there. Ready for that. Ready for another duo. I mean, I guess we gotta have to figure out which duo it's going to be. But Brock Purdy is going to be one end of some sort of tandem for the foreseeable future. 5-year extension, $235 million, I believe, is what it was. I have first reactions, thoughts on this.
Mr. Relevant. I mean, literally, like he's Mr. Relevant. No, he's tied with Goff for the 7th highest paid quarterback, and he has that right. Like he's been to the Super Bowl, he's taken his team to the NFC Championship a couple times. And he probably could have argued more money if he wanted to, because like he can be like, well, look at Dak's resume, look at mine, like I've done more. But hey, like he got a deal that he feels comfortable with, and that's all that really matters. And everyone's saying it's an overpay. Like this is about what we're gonna see is $50 million is the average.
And this time next year, where is he going to be in the average? After we get 3-4 more signings, he will
Stroud and all those other guys sign. Yeah, I think he'll probably jump down to like 15, 16. But again, it comes down to Mahomes' deal is just a steal. Like every time I see it, it's so funny when I see guys like put up like on like Fox Sports News or whatever, and they just put up like the quarterback contracts. Like they never want to show Mahomes' deal because it's just so low and down on the bottom. It's hilarious.
I mean, yeah, you're going to have to show the top 15 guys to get him in there as a part of that. So, yeah, it was a monster deal at the time, but huge bargain. And I think Mahomes is cool playing that out. Like, the dude's got so many sponsorships, he doesn't really need to, pull more money from the franchise. Save that money to pay your studs, make sure you don't lose another Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, seriously.
So I guess with that conversation of the Niners now no longer have that chess piece where they were constantly being able to retain great players because quarterback was cheap. Do you think this now we now see that window could possibly not necessarily closing because that sounds dramatic, but like that championship window. I think now we just see how big the window is. Before, I think it was just kind of you didn't know how big that window was.
It's kind of weird because like their win total is at 10.5, and I was like, that's kind of high. This team's kind of retooling. They just had to fix some pieces. You go and look at their schedule. It's actually like you start counting some wins pretty quickly. You're like, it's a pretty favorable schedule for them. So like I can definitely see them in the playoffs this year. How far they go, not sure, but I could see them easily hit 11 wins this year, no problem.
Yeah, right now that one seems pretty easy for me to go for. When they're talking about this is the easiest schedule in the NFL as far as like the wins that they're playing up against. It's a fourth place schedule because that's where they came in last year, fourth place. Like this dynamic between Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch that seems to have been very hot and cold. They're either right there competing for first in the division or they are dead last. That's why they've gotten some great draft picks in the past. But
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm excited to see how this unfolds. Can they continue to build a championship roster around this this contract?
Yeah, I mean their draft picks. Like a lot of 49er fans weren't like big fans of them, but like they're just you add to the trenches, and that's how you get better. And then you worry about the pieces outside of it.
100%. Do we have? I mean, I guess they paid Fred Warner too. We just had George Kittle get paid. They're paying the core pieces.
They are paying the core pieces, and so like again, like a lot of their other guys like McCaffrey's paid for. I mean, their Ayuk's paid for. Ricky Pearsall's on a rookie deal. Jawan Jennings is on a cheap deal, so like they're doing everything right by the books, I guess. Like
Trent Williams on a big old deal.
Yeah, that one. I mean, but he's still when he plays, he's like one of the best left tackles in the game.
100%, but it's hard to pay all of that. I guess not when the cap keeps going up. Alrighty, Brennan, let's talk a little bit here about drafters. So yeah, last year we did play a lot on Underdog. This year we're making the transition over to drafters, and I mean it's all the same fun. You got the pick'ems in there, you have the best ball, but I'm kind of excited about playing on drafters this year, or just in the sense of having it's full PPR and you get 20 like 20 picks, 20 team roster. So I guess like what are your mindset with that adjustment from half PPR to full PPR?
There's some guys that are worth a little bit more, right? Like those like slot receivers are just worth a little bit more than the guys that are the X guys. Like Glad McConkey probably bumps up a little bit. Just that's where I look at it. Like JSN guys like that are just going to get all those catches. Right around 100 catches. They probably bump a little bit. Receiving backs get a little bit more. And with 20 rounds, like you can kind of do a little bit more fun with builds. Like you can do late stacks, or like I told you earlier, we can do shit stacks. Last year, my shit stacks were the Denver Broncos. Like, I wasn't a Bo Nix believer. Obviously, he had a great year, but like I was doing like Bo Nix, Marvin Mims, but like I'd take like Cortland Sutton and like the late rounds. So like, and it sometimes pans out. But then you also have some other guys that you dabble with. I always try to take like one rookie running back and one rookie wide receiver and call my shot of like, this is going to be the breakout year. Like for me, it was Tyrone Tracy, which was great. And then like I had Ricky Pearsall was my other one, but obviously that didn't really work out till about maybe later in the year, but it was so dead in the water. So like call your shot on some guys that are late, just like, and have a 30% plus share of it, just because it's just like, you're going to call your shot. You're late in the rounds. Might as well own a bunch of it.
Yeah. It's probably my favorite way to approach that with a lot of those. I had a lot of Marshawn Lloyd, but like you said, I also had a good amount of Tyrone Tracy. So you're going to miss on a handful of those, but when they all align, that's the beauty of it. So, I mean, that's kind of the trick here with best ball is you're looking for, I mean, you can only do 2-3 best ball drafts if you want to, but in that sense, I probably wouldn't aim for the big tournaments, just because you have a lesser chance of hitting that. Just go for a smaller pool if you're only going to shoot a few shots.
Yeah,
but
do like a 12 entry people team, like, for like $5, or it doesn't hurt. I do a couple of those every once in a while just to kind of, get a feel for it. So, yeah.
Because that's the other thing that kind of puts you on the hook here in these best ball tournament drafts is you may know everything that you need to know and you may have the plan that you need, but there's always the wild cards in there. The ones that people that ruin your quarterback stack with, whatever it may be, or they're taking guys a little higher than ADP or your guys a little higher than ADP.
Yeah, like the guy in front of you who has like 4 quarterbacks and then ends up taking the 5th one. And you're just like, why are you the way you are? Why are you in here?
I saw the just in a draft earlier, a guy had Joe Burrow he took, but he already had Jaden Daniels. Folks, if you're new to best ball, that's usually not the approach to go. You can go super heavy quarterback, but it's not a strategy I'm ever going to push on anybody.
No. If you draft a guy in like the top 5, take one more later end that's got a higher upside, because more than likely you're just going to have, Jaden Dan, Jalen Hurts, whatever, as your main guy getting all the points. So
Yeah, and then you're just wasting out that roster spot that could have been higher.
yeah.
So back on the PPR or half PPR conversation there. So someone like Derrick Henry, who doesn't get a lot of targets, only had 21 targets last year, caught 19 of them for nearly 200 yards. That's awesome, but he doesn't get that. Jahmyr Gibbs with 63 targets, like that's huge, huge. And in a running back's hand, a catch is more than a carry as far as like what the points come out to on average. So we're looking for that. Does that scare you away from guys like Derrick Henry?
No, because it just depends on like your build, right? Like if you take Derrick Henry, that's obviously like you probably have picked 10 or 9, somewhere around there in that late end. So like whoever you pick in the first, like obviously, like let's say you take Ashton Genty, you probably wouldn't take Derrick Henry. It's a lot of running backs. You need obviously for this game, for best ball, you need a lot more wide receivers than running backs. So like, but it all depends. Like if you take like a Nico Collins and then take Derrick Henry, I wouldn't take a running back till I don't know, rounds 9, 10, or 11, whatever later on, because like your focus point is Derrick Henry being your start guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and luckily he does kind of feel like a bit of a cheat code in that sense that he does get so many touchdowns that kind of offsets the catches.
Yeah.
But like your James Connors, I guess he had 53 targets. I take that back. He was
Yeah.
top 12. I was
But
trying to
he's
think
kind of like a
David.
sneaky guy who does all around work for you. So
Yeah, quite a bit more there.
David Montgomery would be the name, I would
Yeah,
think.
there you go.
Yeah.
A guy that he's going to have to rely on touchdowns just like Derrick Henry because he doesn't have that offsetting value that you get through the passing game. But it does kind of give you like DeAndre Swift. He had 50 targets last year. We could see something very similar in this offense again this year. Javonte Williams, he crushed everywhere for me. Is just a over in his reception. So like a guy who can catch the ball. Granted, it was Sean Payton offense, so that's a good reason of that. But more of a reason to be looking at like an RJ Harvey this year,
Yeah.
or Jaleel McLaughlin.
No, Swift was a great example of that, because I think I'd rather take Swift than David Montgomery in a full point. But in half point, I think I mean, it's pretty even, but full point's the whole difference for me.
Yeah, I guess the ADP location, I guess, would probably be the winning factor in half point PPR for me.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so then let's also talk about this. So last year we were drafting 18 rounds usually and getting 18 players on the roster. This year we have 20. So to me, my first thought is, oh my gosh, the amount of teams that I only took 2 quarterbacks or 2 tight ends, and I probably should have taken a third, but I got to the very end and there was a running back I really, really wanted, so I took him instead of taking that final tight end. This dramatically opens that up for me. Your thoughts on adding those 2 extra spots?
Yeah, so like you're basically I mean, for me, I like to have like if I don't take like a solid tight end like a Brock Bowers or Trey McBride, I like to have 3 tight ends. You can add a fourth one, like it doesn't hurt, because like at some point they're probably going to have a top 12 week, just because all I need is 20 yards and a touchdown, and that's probably more points than the other 3 tight ends you had. So like that's something there. And then at that point, like I'm taking like rookies who just like 6th round pick, and just maybe there's like you could see a path where they can have some sort of existence. Like I'm trying to look like at the 20th round, like where does that start here? I guess that's where it gets really interesting. Like I guess I'd be taking like, it's so weird, like I'm trying to look at names here, but like Jalen Milrow is getting drafted, so I can't even say that, because a lot of guys have taken him in best ball in some drafts I've done. So like it gets really interesting, I guess.
And he's one of those shots I would love to take. Jackson Dart right now is right around QB 30-ish. So he's on that cusp of he is being drafted a little bit, but not always. That's a guy, something with that mobile upside, just like Jalen Milrow. All it takes is an injury for him to be thrust in there. Whether or not you think that the Giants or the Seahawks have a plan for this, like that's all it takes is one injury, one just watching the guy get his freaking knocked out there. So I think this is a great ability for us to kind of rob that a little bit and sneak some more.
Yeah, for me, like I've been, like I said it before, it's shit stacks. Like a lot mine right now is Anthony Richardson with like Alec Pierce and AD Mitchell. And you can say it's a homer pick, but like it's just, again, it's just like I just taking a gamble. It's late rounds. Like, can I see the future? Like another one too that I'm taking a lot of. He's starting to gain steam. It's kind of annoying. Is Tyler Shuh. I've been taking quite a bit of him because I'll take Olave. He's like Olave for me is like a last breaking tier for most of these guys, where he's getting
Yeah.
drafted around Waddle and stuff like that. So like, all right, I'll have a stack. So like that now for sure with rounds 20, he's for sure going to get taken. So, that's where I'd probably lean towards like that. And then like Jawan Johnson, that's a terrible shit stack. But guess what? I just needed to be great for 1 or 2 weeks.
And I don't know if people quite remember how inconsistent tight ends were last year, to the point where some people were arguing to get them off fantasy teams after 3 weeks, all in general. It was so bad. The best of the best weren't good. Trey McBride wasn't having touchdowns. Mark Andrews hadn't come along yet. Brock Bowers was consistent, but he wasn't blowing up. He was just getting those targets that early on. But like guys who had a top 3 finish, Will Dissly had 3 last year. Dallas Goedert had 5. Noah Fant had 3. Jake Ferguson had 4. Brenton Strange had 4. T.J. Hawkinson, only part of the year, had a couple. A.J. Barner, 3 top 12 finishes last year. So like that just dart throws, folks. That's all this is. And Drafters is giving us the gift of 2 extra bench spots. It almost feels like a cheat code.
And then like if you really want to deep dive into it when you do tournaments, like you got to start looking at like week 15, 16, 17, like schedule matchups, right? Like if you do Buffalo, they play New England. And then if you do, New England plays Baltimore. So you got to find those like, keep going. Like I had a buddy of mine, he pulls up, he has the website. What's it called? Trying to remember. It's I have it right here. The Solver. That's what he uses. And I recommend everyone uses. It basically breaks down like your week 15, 16, 17 matchups where you go well at. Like I can show you guys his right now. Like so like he did a lot of Buffalo, New England, Seattle, because Seattle plays week 15 against Indiana, and then week 17 he do Carolina. So he has a lot of those like just tidbit stacks, and that's where you can start to look to at the end of the drafts of like, all right, where, because like at the end of the day, if you do tournaments, like you're trying to, week 17 is the glory one, like, right? Like 2 years ago, the dude took Tyquan Thornton with Josh Allen and whatever, and he won, the best ball tournament just because of that. Like you never think to take Tyquan Thornton, but he had him because of the week 17 matchup.
Yeah, so a lot of that, it's lining up those championship weeks, trying to figure it out. And that's the balance you kind of have with best ball. And I guess that's the difference between whether or not you're going to play tournaments or playing smaller field. When it's a smaller field like that, you don't have to worry. But yeah, in these big tournaments, you want to build a good team. You want to have it balanced across all your positions, make sure that it makes sense. And then you want to have your stacks, and then your stacks that play into the week 17. So like you said, yeah, Buffalo playing Philly in week 17, and then New England playing it's, you try to find those that kind of stair stack a little bit, and that's where the beauty is. You don't necessarily want multiple quarterbacks from the same game. You can if you do think it's going to be a high affair, but if you think it's going to be lopsided, then you
want the opposite side.
Yeah, you want to play into the game script that's in your head, and that's the beauty of playing so many best ball games and so many tournaments, is you can kind of mess around with different, calling your shots, kind of like Brennan was talking earlier. Are there any of your favorite matchups right now in week 17 that catching your eye?
Week 17 matches that are catching my eye. Yeah, like I think there's easy ones you can stack at the end. Seattle versus Carolina. That's like an easy one. I could see that just being like a no man's game where like it could be a free for all. They're not really playing for much, but like Bryce Young, Tet, stuff like that. Zach Charbonnet, Jalen Milroe, like you just, again, like who knows? Jalen Milroe is he's starting to gain steam too in best ball, just because it's like all it takes is Sam Darnold to suck for a little bit, and that contract's not that great, and they just got to throw him out there where he gets injured, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So there's stuff like that I'm looking at.
The Chargers Houston game, week 17. There's probably most likely at this point we're going to have some playoff implications in that game. So that one looks to be, fingers crossed, a good one. But we also have Detroit, Minnesota, and that game could be 13-16.
It's crazy. You know what a really interesting week 17 matchup is? Philly versus Buffalo.
That's going to be a good one. It's
like
in
Buffalo.
Too.
Yeah.
Buffalo has a lot of good matchups that are at home this year. I think they're playing Kansas City and Baltimore at home as well this year.
Yes, they have all the enticing games in their house. They very much lucked out for that.
Oh yeah. And if it's this part of the season, those poor fans. Yeah. They're gonna have to endure quite a bit there if they're going to go see that game. Let's go into the actual ADP of some of this a little bit. Kind of point out some of the players that I guess are jumping out for you. So if we go maybe head to like the 30s, let's dive in there a little
Okay.
bit. So Rashee Rice is number 30. So let's just go ahead and throw his name out there because we probably will all summer. I'm going back to it.
Yeah, that's such a weird area for me with wide receivers. It's like Marvin Harrison, Tyreek Hill, Terry, and then there's Rashee Rice, and I'm just like, yeah, I like Rashee Rice more. I don't care that the Chiefs drafted a 4th-round wide receiver. Don't care they brought back Hollywood Brown. I know what he is with Mahomes. As long as Mahomes doesn't tackle him, he is going to get any. And this is again on drafters. He's a PPR machine. So I'm even more enticed with that as well.
Yeah, that's man. I'm so excited, folks. We're just writing off this whole legal battle. He's not going to miss any time.
No.
And going after JSN and Garrett Wilson, I just can't do it. Like there are no question marks at Kansas City's quarterback spot. Like you just said, we're talking about steam for Jalen Milroe because Sam Darnold may not get the chance to play out the whole season. It's going to be Justin Fields no matter what outside of injury. So Garrett Wilson has a ceiling that I just don't think that Rashee Rice has.
Yeah, like I'm definitely around that area. It's a very gross area for me for best ball, where you end up reaching a lot. Like I just hope T Higgins keeps falling. Then it's like that area for me is very weird. Like I think Tyreek Hill's last for me out of those guys. Like I think I have it like Rice, Devontae, like I think you have T Higgins ahead of those guys, but then it's like Garrett, or JSN, Marvin, and then Tyreek Hill. Like I'm not really touching Tyreek Hill as much unless I'm trying to do a stack with Miami, but it's very much avoided.
Right. Let's slide down here a little bit more. Let's get into so we've got the Xavier Worthy, James Cook, Tet McMillan, Jaden Daniels, Travis Hunter, DJ Moore area, a little Omarion Hampton, DK Metcalf's folding in there a bit. Where's your eye go here in this group of players?
For me, it's like I'm not taking a lot of Travis Hunter. I think Travis Hunter is ADP is a little too rich for me right now.
It's a bit higher than I want it to be.
Yeah, like I was like when I did it in my head, I'm like, all right, number 2. I understand he's now going to be wide receiver. Like I thought for sure like 50, 60s. Like I think I'd still take Cortland Sutton over Travis Hunter right now. Like just because again, Bo Nix was really good. They don't really have any competition there. Like that's where I lean. Like this ain't like Devonta Smith, I feel like is just criminally underrated every single time. Like I watched him be a top 10 wide receiver. Like
multiple times with AJ Brown there.
Yeah.
And folks, we are recording this just before the announcement of the tush push, but rumor has it that thing could be gone. Yeah. And folks, look, whether you're a fan of keeping it or not, the fact that we could rip touchdowns away from Jalen Hurts and like distribute them to the wide receivers.
It's just going to go to Saquon.
It's just maybe like 70% go to Saquon. We could like give me 30%.
Like 95.
You fun sucker.
Dude, like I get it. Like it's an annoying play for sure because the defense can't line up like a rugby-esque style and push back. But like Saquon, have you seen his legs? Like they're just as massive as Jalen Hurts. Like I just don't see how they don't get the yardage still. Like I still think they will go for it on 4th and 1 just because Sirianni is just going to try to prove a point and act like he's all that in a bag of chips and he's got a french fry short of a Happy Meal in my mind.
And the fact that he just got extended again, like
dude, hey man, have fun. Like I don't know what he does. Sits there and plays 8 Mile motivational tapes all day long and just has his defensive and offensive coordinators write him off into the sunset.
Hey, we got new ones this year, so I'm back on the Fire Sirianni train.
Oh, hey man,
Zach Taylor, you're on that list too, buddy. Don't think I forget.
Yeah, how he still has a job, it just blows my mind.
Blows my freaking mind. But yeah, I agree with you. Travis Hunter going right around wide receiver 24. Like it's not bad, but like you're definitely not getting value. I don't think in that area. You know, just with BTJ, with that situation of all that.
Yeah, like I think like even then, like I think I'm kind of inclined to take DK Metcalf still.
Yeah, his ADP it's been sitting right around wide receiver 28, and I like it. I've clicked it quite a bit here in these first couple of weeks of best ball. Just I imagine it should be just a touch higher, and I'm okay taking it right here.
Yeah,
Speaking of moving up the boards here, we're gonna segue just a touch here. R.J. Harvey. I want to talk about a guy we just recently talked with J.J. Zachariason now about. He's right in that sweet spot, the end of RB2 section, as far as getting him in that ambiguous backfield, just everything that it culminates, him being a rookie. Yeah, the guy's going about RB17 now. He's jumped up 30 spots in the last week and a half across best ball
Who's his
platforms.
competition? That's what it's awesome. It's Estime, which we saw him play, wasn't great. It's Jaleel McLaughlin, which he's obviously a receiving back. Like they in the second round draft capital, like Zachariason said it, like he's going to be the guy, whether we want it to be or not. Like he's going to be the guy, and now people are catching up on the ADP of like, well, it's Sean Payton's running back in his system, which obviously typically those are gold mines in fantasy. So like in redraft, yeah, I'm probably gonna draft a lot of RJ Harvey.
Yeah, I'll probably end up taking some of them in best ball. I'm just missing out on the discount because I
It's
don't
not a
want to
discount
take him
anymore.
here at 17.
Yeah.
He's going to probably finish around
What?
probably RB 14. I bet when it's all said and done, maybe
What
close
was
to
his
12.
pre-draft ADP? That's what I'm more curious about because like Gentees was high, Hampton's was high, Henderson's was high, Judkins, all those. Harvey's was not high. I do not
No,
recall.
he was supposed to go after Caleb Johnson,
Yes.
which was that was the big shocker to me there in round 2. I think that was the biggest one for me, but yeah,
Amen.
like I said, he's jumped 30 spots in about 10 days, and I imagine he's jumped even more than that because, yeah, I've heard about people talking about pre-best ball drafts getting them, like, way late.
And see, like even the name, like I think of that, right? Like you just start to like think of best balls like round 20, like probably take a ton of Estime. If Harvey goes down, like what they might sign somebody, but again, like he's the second year in, was drafted by Sean Payton. Like I'll probably take him as the 19th, 20th pick in the 20th round or whatever, just because it's like I can see a path where he is the guy if Harvey goes down.
I'd almost love to see J.K. Dobbins or Nick Chubb sign in Denver because I think it would scare the ADP out of some people, and I wouldn't flinch. I'd jump all over it just knowing that that's going to be the discount you're going to get.
Dobbins, I wouldn't flinch. Chubb, I'd flinch. I'd
I don't
flinch a
know.
little. I
I
saw him
don't know.
squat 600 pounds. I'm a little flinch a little bit.
I mean, I think he just regularly does that.
I
So,
know.
like, I don't know if it's impressive
I was a
anymore.
sucker when he did it last year in best ball. I started drafting a ton of him.
Other big movers that we have over these last couple of weeks, Jaden Blue has moved the most, nearly 50 spots. Previous AVP
So
was
annoying.
RB48.
So annoying. I was getting a ton of him after the draft. I'm just like, I've seen Javante and Miles Sanders play football recently. It's not good. This guy's got to be somewhat better. And everyone's starting to catch on. So, yeah, Jaden Blues, I had a good, decent, healthy stock of him. But now it's like, it's just not obtainable anymore.
I was going to say RB41, I don't hate it. There's definitely some
Oh, he's
other
going a lot
intriguing
earlier in my
picks.
drafts. It's annoying. It's
Yeah,
like
oh yeah,
going,
I'm sure the reaching is begun.
yeah.
Roshan Johnson, talked about on our running back episode with JJ as well. He's up to RB52, which I think everybody kind of thought there was going to be a loser in that backfield. And right now, both those guys seem to be some of the biggest winners at running back this year after the draft. So,
Yeah.
Roshan with pass catching ability, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, JJ said it best. Like, if Swift goes down, like it's between him and the other 6th round pick they took, and like obviously, like Roshan's really never gotten a solid chance. Like, I'd take a chance on him too at this point.
Trey Harris, wide receiver for the Chargers, got about 25 spots. He's sitting there at wide receiver 53. I feel pretty good still pulling the trigger on that one.
I just made a bet about Trey Harris with a buddy of mine. He's a taco of our leagues. I love him to death. He's my old roommate, and he's a Raiders fan though. So he said Trey Harris is going to suck. He thinks he's a bust, and I was like, I think it's kind of rich in that take. I said, I bet you finishes top 20 at least twice in fantasy in a per week basis, and he's like, done, $20. So I now have a bet for Trey Harris to at least get 2 top 20 finishes in fantasy football.
I'd give him at least 4. I'd take over at 3.5, maybe 4.5.
I felt comfortable. I felt he was like, you could do it for 1. I bet he doesn't even do it at all. And I was like,
Oh,
say
that's
less.
wild. That's wild.
Just
I
needs
mean,
50 yards and a touchdown.
the
and
random guys that finish in the top 24 every year. That's too easy. Well, let's
I
talk
bet you
about a Raiders.
QJ's gotten one of them before, right? He's had to have.
He had multiple top 10 finishes last year, I think.
That's right. That's right. He had the Cleveland Browns game. He had like 90 yards and a touchdown or something stupid like that.
Yeah, it was stupid. That
Yeah.
you know. Jack Bech, I guess we'll talk about him since you bring up the Raiders. He is second as far as movement since or third. I'm sorry, with 32 spots he's moved up. He is the wide receiver 61, and still feels like a price I'm willing to pay as a guy who should be. I mean, probably the number 3 target in this offense, but uh, number 2 receiver at least.
Yeah, I mean it's between him and Trey Tucker, if I'm not mistaken. I
Yeah,
mean,
Trey
obviously Brock
Tucker's.
Bowers and then Jacoby Myers, and it's between those two. But like, yeah, like why not? I mean, who knows? I mean, obviously Gino's a very accurate quarterback. I don't think I've drafted him a ton. I don't think I've drafted him once, to be honest with you. Like,
Really?
yeah, I just like I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the builds I do. Like, I don't have. I think I have one Gino build, but it's with like Ashton Genty, him, and Jacoby Myers.
Okay.
So like, I think that's the build I have with him. Ton of Ash and Genty stock, by the way. Ton of like, if I get pick 8, it's probably Genty. It's super annoying, but that's probably what I'm riding or dying with him.
I still haven't got him yet.
Really,
I'm either top 4 or like the last 2 or 3 picks in the draft. It's kind of annoying. I haven't really got any meat in the middle.
8 has been my number. I think I've gotten 8 at least 10 to 15 times for sure in all the drafts I've done. It's kind of annoying. So,
Right.
not the same amount of guys.
And I hate when you do it in a certain time of the year, like when ADP set that way, because I want to have exposure to all different
Oh
types of
yeah,
builds.
I haven't gotten 12 once. I've gotten 1, I think 2 times.
I hate
That's it.
getting 1.
I don't mind it. I've taken Jamar Chase, then I've taken I think I took Justin Jefferson 1.
That's why. Like last
Yeah.
year, I didn't take McCaffrey a lot at 1-1 because I just hate taking that consensus. You know, I'd rather
Yeah,
pick there at 2
I'd rather
and 3.
Jamar
And,
fall to me at 2 or something like that. It's like I can justify that.
yeah, because I mean, I took a lot of Tyreek Hill at 1-1 because I was like, you know what, it's going to be a wide receiver that I'm going to want.
Gross.
Yeah, it bit me in the ass, but it was like, all
Yeah,
right,
that
do I want to take
did.
him or Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson instead of I think CD Lamb was a
CeeDee
lot
Lamb
of
was there too.
was the
Yeah,
consensus. Yeah, I was trying to zig, do a little zigging when people are zagging.
and they zagged all over you.
Jaden Higgins, the second round wide receiver going to Houston Texan in the draft. Wide receiver 52 right now. He's moved up 23 spots over the last couple of weeks. ADP now just inside 100. He's at 99.5. I like this. Like 12 personnel, if they're rolling that out there, he's going to be out there. 11 personnel, definitely. But like this guy should see plenty of work. I'm excited for the new OC to come rolling in. Give me your thoughts.
I try to take him. He keeps getting. You know who I take a ton of though? It's Noel because
Yeah.
he's so far down, and I think they're going to cut Christian Kirk.
Oh, I bet he stays on just because injuries plagued that receiver room last
Yeah,
year. I think they'd want to hold
I
on.
could see them cutting him though, just because if Noel and Higgins come to life at camp and he's clearly behind, like
So then
I
you got
could just see
John
him.
Mechie as wide
Yeah,
receiver 4. Nah,
dude.
give me Kirk as your 4. That's a great 4.
Yeah, it is a great 4. But yeah, no, I've been taking a ton of Noel, not Higgins, and then I would like to take Higgins. Like I just because like Stroud's going as QB 16, 15, something like that.
Yeah, he's down
So you
there.
can do like a back-to-back kind of a pick style there with him if you want to just make sure you secure it. But yeah, I haven't taken a ton of Higgins. I'd like to, but he keeps getting sniped. I'd love to take it. I think Higgins is a really good discount because like again, if Nico goes down, he is basically Nico 2.0.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it's and the fact that he got that fully guaranteed contract too. Like, you know, they've got some plans for the guy. They want to keep him happy,
I
keep
think
him
they
there.
should talk to Cincinnati about their first picks and ask how that contract's going.
Right.
Yeah.
Last few guys I want to throw out here, and that we talked about players that have moved up in ABDP, so they're no longer, their discounts going away a little bit. Let's talk about the guys that have completely lost some capital here. Number 1 player up right now, it's Jerome Ford. 46 spots is what he's dropped since the draft has come out. He's got to be one of the biggest losers. They drafted 2 running backs, round 2 and
Yeah.
round 4.
And like pretty decent draft capital too for like second round and fourth round picks. Yeah, like I mean
Mhm.
his days have got to be numbered. I mean, I'm not taking a ton of him
Yeah.
around the area. You know who I'm taking a ton of around that area though? Is Zach Ertz. I feel like Zach Ertz is such a discounted tight end. Like he's gonna get you a couple top week finishes because Ben Sinnott just seems to be a blocking tight end, and they just gave him another contract for Zach Ertz. Like I'm taking a ton of him.
Yeah, I enjoyed him as one of my last picks a lot last year. And I feel like I'm getting cute trying to take him this year. I don't not taking away from anything. I love everything what you said. I want to agree with it, but the gold I got from him so late last year, it just feels like Maybe kind of like it's like Jonnu Smith, I guess, without the price baked in. Like Jonnu
Mhm.
Smith, I do not want to touch at all this year. He still could be a huge part of this offense if they keep it as elementary as they did, but I just don't want to spend the price. So yeah, Zach Ertz is just like the cheap Jonnu Smith.
Yes, I agree.
Dylan Sampson is another loser as far as ADP goes. He's dropped 33 spots.
I can't
Him
take
and
him. I just there's so many other guys that I could see a brighter future for, like where he's at. Like I've been taking like honestly a guy that me and my buddy who we do drafts about. We're taking Woody Marks.
yeah,
Uh, Woody Marks has been one of my last couple picks just because it's like Joe Mixon goes down. Like granted, Woody Marks is not the typical size to be a 3-down back, but he's gonna get ramped up with some work, and he's a receiving type back. So at full point PPR for drafters, like that is a huge deal.
that's the big thing I think is that the receiving ability because we did see Joe Mixon. There was some sort of cliff he hit last year. He was great for you for a good while, and then it kind of pulled up a bit. Guess what? He's only a year older, so Woody Marks, as rookies usually do, about that second half of the season is where they really ramp it up. We could see that happening, and if it's ramping up somewhere, it's probably going to be in the passing game, and that's where the money's at. So, a player they traded up to get him as well. So, extra draft capital. Who doesn't like to tag that on him? Give you a little bit extra thumbs up when you draft
Yeah.
him.
Like Woody Marks might be my rookie running back. I almost have a lot of
This year's
stock of.
Tracy.
Yeah, he might be. And then my another guy like Jarquez Hunter, he's in competition with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then my late round like wide receiver, who I'm probably taking a ton of, like it's Pat Bryant. Like he's so like I can't. It's like a third round draft capital. Like dude, like they're comparing him to Michael Thomas, which is so stupid. I'm buying into the coach talk, but it's just like it's a late round pick, and like if I have a Bo Nick stack, like I'm for sure going to take him. And then like the other wide receiver, it's Isaac Tesla, like or how do you pronounce his name? Like
Yeah.
again, third round pick. Clearly, Detroit's GM has done very well with drafting. Like they see something out of him.
I've soured a little bit on him. I
I
was
have too, but it's
optimistic,
like
and then
round
lately,
18. I can't help it.
oh, I get it. That's the great part about best ball is your late round flyers. They're supposed to miss. So if you're just shooting, you've got some upside. And
Dude,
something
if you
great.
just get like one top 20 finish out of him, you just text your boys and you're just like, Tesla.
He's going around Jalen Royals, Calvin Austin, Tutu Atwell, Dontavian Wicks, Adonai Mitchell. So, I mean, do you really feel confident about any of those players? No. Then take the one you like the best, or the one that gives you the coolest sound you can make after he scores a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. That voice message is going to hit like crack, let me tell you.
Oh, that's awesome. Alrighty, man. Let's get out of here. We got to get it shut down so we can hop in some more drafts. Of course, we're going to be doing that all over on Drafters Fantasy Sports. Again, FFAN is the promo code to use. It's up to 100% or $100 match, 100% if you use the promo code versus the 50% that they give you. Hop on there. We're going to be doing drafts all summer long, popping them in there. So make sure you find us there. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, whether you're here on YouTube or on the podcast. Brennan, tell the folks where they finding you at.
You can find me on X at Too Much B Milk, and then you can find me on the Fantasy Football Advice Network.
Damn straight, that's where you're finding them. It's Too Much Brian or _ Brian if you're on the X. But we'll see you later, folks. We got to get out of here and get ready for live drafts next week.